When it comes to natural char, there's many different materials that can be used. Today we're going to look at the 3 that I use most in the field. So this is punk wood. This is by far, in my opinion, the best natural char that you can get, and it's readily available and it's easy to find. What punk wood is just rotted wood, okay, that is starting to get a very spongy feel. So if you look at this, you could see it's sponge-like, and that's what we're looking for. The tops of cattail work really well for natural char, but as you can see this time of the year, they're just non-existent. We then have plant stalks, and any plant stalk that has a pithy center seems to work. And what I mean by a pithy center is you can see the pith here that runs down the center of that. That will work for char. I don't think it's most optimal, but it does work, so it's just another option for something you can use out in the field. Now that I'm back, I have a fire started off to the side. I'm gonna make some natural char for us. And I'm just using an old shoe shine container. I punched a small hole. What's actually happening when we make char is we are using the triangle of fire to our advantage. So think about heat, oxygen, and fuel. We're putting fuel inside our container and we're adding heat to it. What we don't have is oxygen. So what's happening inside this container is that the elements of whatever fuel source are in there are burning off, and it's leaving carbon behind. So we're actually creating carbon in this process. That's what char is carbon. So we're going to just take our wood, our punk wood, and I like to keep it in larger sections. I think it just works out better. And I'm going to line this inside the can. Fill the can up. It doesn't matter if it's a couple pieces or a lot. About this much should be more than adequate. Put the lid on, and then I'm going to place it over my fire and just let it cook. Material is done. So we'll open this up and you could see what that stuff looks like. Our technique needs to change slightly with natural char, and the reason for that is natural char is a lot more delicate and it falls apart much more easily than charred cloth. So keep that in mind, and that's why we change that technique up. We want this to work just as easily as we do when we use char cloth. So what we need to do is, rather than holding the stone and striking it with our striker, now we're going to hold the striker solid and strike it with the stone. So it's the opposite. The reason that we're doing it this way is because direction of sparks. We looked at that a video or two ago in the yurt, and we saw how cutting material off of this striker this way threw sparks over the top. Now we need to throw sparks down into our tin. It's just a different style technique. So what I like to tell individuals to do is you can either hold your striker above your material like this, or you can pin it right down, whatever you're more comfortable doing. I'm going to hold it slightly above. We're still going to think about that 45-degree angle because we're still shaving material off of this striker. What we're going to do now, though, is we're going to strike sparks down into our material. Now, I blew on that. I gave it some oxygen. It went out. Natural char is a little bit more difficult than char cloth. So let's just keep at it. Okay, so I have a piece down here ignited, 2 pieces. Now all you want to do, because there's other stuff ignited, smother it out. Okay, so I want to be super delicate with this piece. I don't want it to get messed up. I'm going to lay it right inside my bird's nest. Now what I'm going to do in the interim is get the camera readjusted. Okay. What I'm doing now is giving this air and oxygen. So that is natural char, how to make it, how to pick materials, and then technique-wise, what we need to do with our flint and steel to change up that technique. So it's a lot different than using charred cloth, but it's a very valuable technique to understand, because if you got in a situation that you're just running low on cloth, or you honestly have already cut up all your underwear and are wearing a belly shirt, it might be time to make some natural char. But you really should never really get to that point, but it is something good to know. It's something good to understand. I just want to touch 1 second again on also throwing them sparks down in your container. There's a good probability, as I did, you're going to light multiple pieces of charred material. So take out what you need, smother the rest out. That's out. It's going to reignite next time I throw sparks in there, and we'll be good to go. So keep this in mind. It's another tool for the toolbox, and it's going to make you a better woodsman. This was Dan Wowacker, Coalcracker Bushcraft. Head over to coalcrackerbushcraft.com. Check out all our classes and our one-day clinics that we have coming up this summer. Hope you'll sign up and get out here and hang out with us for a while. And until the next video, stay in the woods, guys.